All right, so today, last week we talked about the resources through, oh, yes, you're right.
Yep.
Resources, requirements, your big why. Today, we're going to go over the 80-20 principle, your GPS 411 and time blocking.
Can I get
Lots of
a,
acronyms.
yeah, can I get a head count on who did the big Y exercise? In the journal or the workbook you did? Okay.
Woo.
Tyson? You're good, man. Oh, you're totally fine. Make time to do that because that will tie into what we're talking about today. And then Blake, on that workbook we gave you, there's a section where we're talking about your big why. Just follow through, do a little journaling on the prompts, and that'll help you start. Because what we're doing, we're starting wide, we're kind of building it in. Mariah and Cash, did you guys have time to do that part of the workbook?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Cool. Awesome.
Appreciate you doing that. Don't know if Cash can hear me, but we'll just go ahead and jump right into it.
Okay, so let's go on to our next slide. You want to welcome Blake first?
Yeah,
Yay,
welcome, Blake.
welcome. We're glad to have you.
We got a new team member, Blake, here. Excited for you guys to meet him in person soon.
That's awesome. Okay, so speaking of homework, does anyone want to share what their big why is? You want to go after someone else?
I can go first.
Let's do it.
Go ahead.
So my big why was, it was like my wife and then future family along with it, and
Yeah.
just trying to set my kids up and my family up for just like I had a good childhood, but doing like even more like fun things
Yeah.
that, I don't know, just making my kids' childhood as best as,
Possible.
yeah, just setting that up for them,
I love it.
So building a foundation for your life and theirs.
pretty much.
Sweet.
I
Yeah.
love it. That's great.
Like for mine, it was break generational trends. Like I want to be the first homeowner in my family.
Yeah.
Because my father and mother never bought a home.
Yeah.
Probably never will, unfortunately. And then also like I don't want to have to keep worrying about money. You know what I mean? Like a sense of financial freedom.
Yeah.
I'd like to get to the point where like I'm not busting ASS every day, you know what I mean? And like you can actually pursue education that I want to pursue.
Yeah.
That's my big why.
It's awesome, man.
I love that.
Tyson, obviously, it's okay you don't do the exercise. Do you have anything specific you feel like that is your kind of purpose at this point?
I don't know. It's just like a lot of people like say that real estate is risky, and like everyone just like always telling me like, oh, we'll see if like you succeed, and kind of stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to prove them.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
I put prove the dad as well.
yeah, I kind of want to prove them wrong. Like that's a huge why for me. It's because it's super frustrating when like you tell someone you get real estate, and they're like, wasn't that like super risky? Like not really going to succeed in that.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, that technically is true, but I'm not gonna do it wrong.
I love it.
I like that.
Yep.
That's awesome.
On Zoom,
Cool.
looks like Cash left. Mariah, do you want to share yours?
Yeah, mine is my boys and my husband just have the time and the money to be able to do fun activities and just enjoy the things we like to do without being stressed about it.
Love it.
That's so good.
That's great. Touching on what you guys said about the daughters, I totally relate. When I got started, a lot of my coworkers at my last job, which is also sales, ironically, and I was actually doing great at it. So it's funny, even then, you know what I mean? They were still talking crap, but you know, they're like, how's it going to feel not to make as much money? Or even like a month ago, I had a guy go, well, because he asked, how many houses did you sell last year? I was like, 27. He's like, well, you must have made at least the amount of money that you made selling cars, right? And I was just like, I could strangle you, man. Like, why do you feel the need to, you know, try to belittle me after all this time?
Like
Like,
actually triple. So
yeah, I'm like, so stupid. So I appreciate you guys sharing, but yeah, I think it's important to have a big why, which, like I say, big is because you were after extraordinary results. Why? It's the reason you get up every day and go after it, essentially. So love to hear it. We're gonna recap.
Carla.
Oh, nice. We got Carla on here.
Hey, Carla. Did
How's it
you do
going?
the big why last week? Did you fill out your big why? Okay,
Oh, no, she
we'll move on. Okay.
No worries. Hey, so I'll just refill her. Carla, there was a little like journaling segment in the workbook talking about your big why. Big again is because you're after extraordinary results. Why? It's the reason you get up every day, do what you do. Essentially, that's your motivation for why you're in this gig in the first place and what you want to do with it long term. A couple of the guys here and also Mariah shared, and it's a mixture of, family to prove people wrong that think they can't do it, and a bunch of good stuff like that. So we love to hear it. If you decide you want to share, you just let us know. So launch session 2, again, we're going to cover the 80-20 principle, which is just like a fundamental principle when it comes to real estate and general mindset. GPS, filling out your 411, and time blocking.
Perfect. All right, so have you guys ever seen this sort of picture before in grade school or?
It looks familiar.
Yeah.
I might have.
So the object is you put in, try to fill up the jar. You have these items that fit it all in there. And this one over here, they put the sand first, they put these little rocks, then they put the big rocks on top, and obviously it doesn't all fit. And then over here, the difference is they put the big rocks in there first, then filled it in with sand, and then filled it in with little rocks, and everything could fit. But the key was the big rocks went in there first.
Right.
So when we talk about the 80-20 principle, you'll hear that phrase, your big rocks. That's going to help you to narrow down what's most important for your day so that you get the results that you're wanting that correlates with that big why.
Yeah, for those on Zoom, you guys hear that okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, basically put first things first, right? You got to do the big stuff first so that you can get to the little things.
Oh, my little thingy. Okay.
Oh, it'll
This
come
was
to,
sweet. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
it'll pop up. It's like a graphic thing.
Okay, cool. So we're going to watch this YouTube video briefly. Is there sound?
Hi, my name is Jonathan Dupree, and I've been with Keller Williams since 2019, and I've been in the real estate industry my entire life. And I'm so excited that you're here today to learn about one of my favorite perspectives, that 80-20 rule. This is one of my favorite perspectives out of the 6 perspectives because it basically helps you as an agent, as a leader, move from where you are to where you want to be faster, to collapse those time frames down. What it basically says is that 20% of your activities are going to generate 80% of your results. I've lived by this perspective since I was a kid. I grew up playing basketball. In fact, I was horrible at basketball, 6th and 7th grade. I made a decision I wanted to be good, and I got the Pete Maravich Pistol Pete basketball tapes. And every morning I would do my dribbling drills, I would do my passing drills, defense drills, the skills to help me become a better player. I'd shoot 1,000 shots every single day, 500 free throws every single day. And then from my 7th grade to my 8th grade year, I became a much better player. My 8th grade year to my freshman year, I became a starter on the varsity team. Then I started thinking about playing at the collegiate level. And I knew that I wasn't the most talented player, but if I wanted to have the opportunity to play at the collegiate level, I had to really hone in on what were the things that mattered most to helping me become a better player. And it was mastering the fundamentals, doing the drills over and over and over and over again until I mastered them. Then I got into the real estate business. My mother's been an agent for 52 years, and she taught me, Jonathan, if you focus on listings, you will make more money than other agents who focus solely on buyers. So I made the bulk of my activity to generate leads to get listings. And as a result, I was able to build a successful real estate career. You know, I remember as a new team leader walking through our market center, and I saw one of our agents who was newer, and they were working so hard at creating all these forms. And I stopped and I said, what do you do? He said, I'm making all these forms and it'll help me with my clients. I told him those forms already existed, and he was wasting his time on the 80% activities that generated 20% of his results. I'll never forget when he finally realized he needed to spend his time devoted to lead generating, to get listings, to write contracts, to close deals so that he could make money. He finally understood about prioritizing his business and focusing on what matters most so that he could end up building the life that he desired and that he deserved. And he still brings that conversation up. That was a shift for him when he realized he was avoiding doing what he knew he should do most to grow his business, so that he still though felt productive by creating those forms. See, as an agent, or if you look at it as a leader, anywhere in your life, you have to determine what are the levers that I can pull that will help me collapse the timeframes and get the results that I desire. Those 20% activities, gaining clarity to what matters most for you in your business. And in real estate, we know It's lead generate, to get appointments, to get listings, to have a right contract, to have closes, to make money. I'm so excited that you're about to learn about this perspective. I can't wait to implement it. And one thing I want to leave you with is the speed of growth in your business will always be determined by the speed of implementation. How quickly you take these perspectives that you're learning about today and apply them to your personal life and to your business. I can't wait to see how far you go and how much you grow by implementing these perspectives and strategies into your business and your personal life. So let's get ready to learn.
What do you guys think? What's the 80-20 principle? Just by watching that video.
I'm a little confused, but, so 20% of what you do should equal 80% of your results. It's kind of, or like, what are you doing in that
Yes.
80%?
Yeah,
Yes.
so happy to break it down. So a couple things I want to touch on from that video, just talking points. Number one, he said that the success of your business comes from the implementation of what you're learning. There's no point in coming to these classes or learning as much as possible if you never take action and stay consistent, because that's ultimately, you could be stupid, but as long as you're active, you're going to get something, versus being the smartest guy in the room who doesn't do anything. Is that fair?
Like that guy that was just doing a lot of paperwork and forms.
Busy work, right?
Busy work. That's not gonna help him make money and get clients.
Right.
That's the 80%. His 20% is focusing on the things that will help him make money, getting leads, working with your clients, having appointments. and stuff.
Yep. So we'll touch on these and I'll break it down specifically, but Lyric's question is, he was confused on the 80-20, like how that actually relates to our day-to-day. So we'll jump into some specific examples, but first things first, the 80-20 principle. So focus on the 20% of the activities which produce 80% of the results. So if I asked you, Lyric, does you making flyers, is that going to get you business faster than you making a phone call?
Probably not.
Right. So what category would you put the flyers in versus the phone call?
I guess the 80.
80 for flyers, 20 for the phone call, right? If I told you, hey, the lunch you're going to go on this week or the buyer appointment you set versus you going and doing a social media post, or I shouldn't say doing, creating a social media post, which one's more likely to get you business?
The ones.
Right. So the point is, it's about the best utilization of your time and efforts, right? It's okay to do those 80% things, but the big rocks come first. It's not until you take time to say, I've done my lead generation, I've set my appointments. Now let me go work in my business, right? You should be focused on those 20% activities first. So another example how this breaks down, we'll jump to this real quick. So begin with the income producing activities of 20%, then the support activities, the 80%. What is the value of your time, right? So breaking that down, because ultimately, if you want to be like an assistant or you want to be someone who works on the support side of things, that's really not the agent role. The agent role is getting the results, right, overall. And then stay committed to your 20% activities. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot to break down here, but really that just comes down to doing the things that you know are directly going to relate to you making money or getting production versus, hey, Riley, you know what? I took what we taught, you learned in that class today, and I went and made a sick flyer, but I'm never going to knock doors. Or I have the best, ad idea, but I don't follow up with the leads. Like, there's no point, right? Another way this breaks down, 20% of the people in this office do 80% of the production, right? Look at More Club. There's 350 agents, only 115 last month had a closing. Out of those 115 that had a closing, obviously the top 20% had multiple. So that's like a further breakdown of that, right? Like, 20% of the people in the world control 80% of the money. Or does that make sense? And
So looking over here, Lyric, also, like, this is your, it's not a pretty cup, but it's a cup. So here are your big rocks. Lead generation, follow-up, what else? Could be a big rock.
generally prospecting, following up.
Prospect, yeah. So these are your big rocks. These are the most important things in your day that you will schedule in. We'll talk more about that. The other stuff is important too. It's not that it's not. It's just we do these things first. Then you do flyers. Then you do,
Making a social media post.
yeah, stuff like that.
Whatever,
Yeah.
planning out a client event, sending an email, or another thing on your transactions. Would it be wise first thing during the day to jump on all your emails for all the people needing responses from me for, oh, title needs this document, or like, you guys don't have to do that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
your job is so dumbed down, it's ridiculous. When I got started, I did literally every single step of the way. I had no gen, I had no me, nothing. Like, I literally had to do everything from start to finish. So there's no excuse for you guys to not be focused on those activities, because truthfully, that's what matters, right? But example for me, when I got started, I'd put a couple under contract and then I'd panic because I'd have to spend all my time and focus on those 3 or 4 transactions to make sure they close and do all the paperwork and everything else. And by the time they close, I'd have nothing in the pipeline. That's because I was focused on the 80% activities. I was focused on essentially like the office work, if we could phrase it in that specific way, right? Versus the, hey, let me go stack my pipeline and get more business, because ultimately that's what matters more. The rest I can figure out once I do my one thing or my most important things, right? So,
Does that make sense?
any questions from those on Zoom?
And we'll dive in this a little bit.
Nope.
more with Activity.
Awesome. So moving on real quick.
So this is where we break this down a little bit more, because I was like you, Erica, I didn't quite understand like, what is my 20%? What is most important? And so there is that to-do list, which has everything on it that you have to do, but it really doesn't take you anywhere.
Yep.
Your success list is a list that you, that's your 20%. Those are the things that will help you get somewhere. And so I love that they said achievers operate with an eye for the essential. So the to-dos are, yes, they're important, but these guys go first. They're the top priority.
Yep, 100%.
Anything on that?
No, I mean, that really just touched on what we were just saying, like, there's a difference between being busy and producing, right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like, I can be busy, I've got a ton of stuff to do every day. But being active in my business is most important. Getting business, I should say, is most important.
Yeah. All right.
Because without needs or without business, you just have a cool title, which no one really seems to, as you say, people may
And
say, people really don't care.
tires.
you know? Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so on this page, what we're gonna do is,
I'm gonna- Okay, guys, I'm gonna try to show this to you.
it's on the next.
Oh, next
I think
slide.
It has we have it looks like.
Okay,
There it is. So what I want you guys to do is just to put a goal related to real estate. It could be super simple, maybe to have 2 deals by the end of the year. Whatever you want to do, so put that down. And then we're gonna fill out the to-do list to make that happen. Everything you can possibly imagine. Flyers, you have to make sure your transactions are done correctly with paperwork. You need to do lead generation, anything and everything you
Yep.
can think of. We're gonna try to sort out that success list versus the to-do list.
So if I had a goal to close 20 transactions this year, my to-do list could consist of, my 36 touch, having a support system that would allow me to comfortably produce 20 deals and not feel overwhelmed. It could be doing daily lead generation. It could be geo farming. It could be all these different things, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different things.
All right, here's the-
Any questions from the people on Zoom as to what you should be doing right now?
Nope. Is this a page though in the book? I couldn't find it.
No, we
It's in
printed it
here.
out.
Okay.
You guys can just do it
No
on
problem.
a generic notebook or something for now.
Okay.
right, so once you have all those tasks or the to-do lists, circle the ones that are going to really impact your goal, have the most impact on your goal. And those items are your success, that is your success list, that is your 20%. The other things are in there and they need to be done, but that success list, those that you circled first are most important and go first, and
Yeah.
they're big rocks.
In a nutshell, what's the most impactful to your goal out of that
Yeah.
list, right? The things that are essentially non-negotiables, without those, you
Yes.
would not hit the goal.
Yeah, they're not, non-negotiable. Okay, any questions about the 80-20? Any questions about how that works? Are you good to go on a little bit and dive even deeper into this?
So once you guys finish your success list, you're gonna take one thing from that list, and that's gonna be the one thing that you can do. Such by doing it, everything else is easier or potentially unnecessary. Right? So maybe you have a list of, 12 things to start. You circled, you narrowed down to 3, pick one. I mean, I know for me, lead generation. I know it's gonna sound super repetitive. But ultimately, if you don't have leads, if you don't have people in your pipeline, people who are in your database, you don't have a business. You have a fancy title and an opportunity at best. So you want to focus on that above all else. And everything else is a byproduct of what you're building.
All right. So next, we're going to talk about the GPS. Dun, 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 goal priorities and strategies.
So the reason we use a GPS is to help us identify from a bird's eye view multiple methods and paths for hitting our annual goal. The purpose of having it laid out in a 1-3-5 format, which I'll explain, is so that you can bulletproof your odds of hitting your target. We then use the information we allowed on your GPS to map out our smaller action plans with the next tool, our 411. So again, GPS is 1 annual or big goal, 3 priorities, right, to hit that goal, and then 5 strategies within each of those priorities to make them a reality, right? And so I'll go to the next
Let's go to
section.
page 12 is an example of a GPS in the book, and then we'll have some up here too.
If you guys have a workbook, page 12,
Uh-huh.
page 12 in your workbook, or hopefully on Zoom, you can see this. But yeah, again, so priority 1, so your one thing for the year is what? So that could be, for me, that's a transaction goal. So my goal for the year is to help 40 families buy or sell real estate, right? And then priorities would be, what are 3 areas that I can focus on that's going to lead to me hitting this goal? How you pick and be selective, we'll actually just go to the next slide real quick. Your 3 priorities, if done alone, should be realistic for you to hit your goal. Not saying for sure, but they should be something that, one of those priorities should be something that if you exclusively went all in on that, or were 70% on all 3 things, they would all lead you to hitting your big goal, right? So goal setting to the now, thinking really big, and then going really small.
So that funnel, taking your big line and do.
It's one thing to set a goal. I want to make $100,000 this year. I want to help 10 families. But that's just, all that is mostly just like a hoorah type of speech.
Yeah.
What actually makes the difference and what really makes it achievable and simple is being able to jump in and say, okay, what does that look like on a month-to-month, week-to-week, day-to-day basis? Because when you break it down to those small bite-sized pieces, you realize how stupidly easy it actually is.
Mhm.
When you just set a big target, you're making a mountain out of a molehill. You're going to say, oh my gosh, how am I going to help 10 families or 20 families? Or I've only made $15 an hour. How am I going to make $100,000?
Yeah.
Right? Because when you think with that mentality, it's a lot more challenging than if you say, you're telling me I have to go on half of an appointment a week to hit that goal. Like, could all of you guys figure out a way to go on 1 appointment a week? 100%. There's absolutely no problem with that, right? So again, your 5 strategies, if done correctly, should lead you to accomplishing your priority. Measurable and specific are the name of the game. So for example, my 2021 or 2022 goal to serve 21 families in 2022 and have $125,000 of net income, right? And another way you can break it down is have. Have is the result, right? So strategy, to achieve my one thing for the year is listings, 10 listings sold. 5 strategies to get 10 listings. Create a new habit of lead generation every morning, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 12. List 13 houses by the end of the year, which is 20 appointments a year, or in other words, 1 listed per month. Contact 200 in database, 10 a.m. to 12. Out of your sphere, close 6. Host an average of 2 open houses a month, 24 open houses for the year. So they want to get 2 sold from that. This isn't mine, it's just one that's created, right? Another one event each quarter for their top 10 clients, top 25, top 50, top 100. Again, that should lead to 2 sold. So off of this one thing alone, they're already more than halfway, if not more, to their goal. And I promise you, if they follow this to a T, they'd probably by default hit this goal, right? Because if you go generate listings, a listing should turn into 1 to 2 other deals. So for every 1 listing they take, that's 2 or 3 deals total. So if they list 10 houses, that's potential for 20 to 30 deals off their listings alone, right?
Yeah.
Priority 2 to achieve for the year, leads, 19 buyers closed. Create a new habit to commit to morning lead generation. Again, they can circle back to the same premise, same thing. 23 buyer agreements by the end of the year, right? Quarterly home buyer seminar for a year, 2 monthly open houses to get buyer leads, contact 810 in database, right? Oops. Priority 3, leverage 1,500 contacts in database by the end of the year. It says 2021, doesn't matter, it's just a premise. Send out 6 monthly mailers with AM cards, social media post, 5-5-5 exercise. So that's, 5 likes, 5 comments, 5 direct messages. Time block 1 to 3 Thursday to work in KW Command database, follow DTD2 system weekly call schedule, and then quarterly client events with 5 touch program. So I invite them to the event. They get a call about the event, an email, a text. I do a drop-by gift and I see them at the event. There's 5 touches, right? For example. So again, that's the point, measurable and specific, because then you have a plan. You then take this and say, what would that look like month to month, week to week, day to day? Pretty simple. Okay, well, I've got to lead generate every day, Monday through Friday. Is that hard? No. And they say 3 hours. I mean, that's what the MREA states. I don't lead generate for 3 hours, straight up. I don't. Because today alone, just off of a quick, 45 minutes of active lead generation, made 4 contacts, had 12 phone calls, 12 contacts to outbound calls, not counting the text that I sent. What's that?
This is all SOA call?
Yeah, this morning.
So it wasn't like cold calling or anything?
No, because really your focus should be, again, we want to talk about big rocks, right? Who are you more likely to convert fairly quickly? Someone that doesn't know you, like you, or trust you whatsoever, or someone that at least has a reference to who you are.
Yeah.
Until you've exhausted this should not even be a consideration, because this supplements your database, which are people that know, like, and trust you, right? So again, I just want to quickly show you guys, we're going to look at my GPS as well as Molly's GPS. So you guys can see in real time, we actually use this tool. Oh, I need access, Molly, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll request access real quick. If you go on your phone real quick and go to your email, you should be able to click accept. So I also use a scorecard, just like you guys. I'm finishing building mine out. If this would go away, that'd be awesome. 2 seconds. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. I don't know how to get this to go away. I'm new to the Mac game, don't judge. Okay, I really don't know how to make that go away. Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. I haven't set these up yet on mine, so I can't actually click through them. 2 seconds. Do this. Got to pull it up on my other screen, go to it, and then drag it over to my thing. Okay. So here's my GPS, okay? 40 families helped, 350,000 plus GCI. So mine are broken down in database management, database growth, leverage, and systems. I'm just redoing mine because I've had people leave my team and everything else. And mine, I actually have like a team with admin and everything. So mine is going to look a little bit different because we're building out systems. But I have a 40 touch program. So my clients will get a quarterly, birthday, and anniversary call. Every time I'm on the phone with them, I'm asking for business. I'm going to email them a neighborhood nurture, monthly value add email, which is our newsletter. I'm going to mail them their settlement statement once a year. They've done business with me in the last year. Do a birthday card, anniversary card, monthly mailer, and postcard. Property value and unsolicited CMA 1 to 2 times a year. That doesn't count us inviting them to events, which we're going to do about 7 this year. So that's what, 36 touches off that one? Yeah.
Anniversary, meaning the anniversary, work with them or like their personal anniversary?
I wouldn't probably call one their personal anniversary. Yeah.
I'm confused when you say anniversary, it's between you and them.
Yeah.
Finally selling a house.
Yeah, 100%. Addition, yeah. additional touches. So I use a tool called Slide Broadcast and Slide Text. Well, that's like up here, base level stuff you call them, right? Don't worry about that. Event messages for invites, holidays, and thank yous. We send a text out on every major holiday. I'll do a voicemail at the start of the year for them. I'll do invites to the client events, which would have a 5-touch program as well. You can see here, email, text, voicemail, day of reminder, and then thank you / we missed you text. So off of the events we have alone, which I hope to God that thing doesn't pop up again. I'm not even going to try to click on it. We've done 3 or 4 client events this year and still have 3 more planned. So off of those alone, if we do 5 touches, that's another 30 additional touches for our database, right? 1 client event per quarter, which we actually have more, 90% success rate, Google review. Again, this is more like database management, trying to get people that are engaged with us to build a reputation. Minimum of 3 social media posts a week and 5 likes, comments, and direct messages. Contact health, making sure I have everybody's full contact information so my systems work properly. 1 social media ad per week, $20 or more spend, which would be 8 new leads a week from Facebook. Host average of 2 open houses a month or 24 for the year. Self-led lead generation, at least 1 hour Monday through Friday. And I'll do Wednesday as well. But those are the times before I coach you guys. So I'm being committed to what I'm preaching, right? And then these are Sawyer, because she's my admin, buyer, seller checklist, whatever. So, and then we also have 411, which we'll come back to for now. What did it allow you to?
Yeah, it should.
Cool.
Okay, so my GPS looks a little different because my role is to help build the market center for the agent. So each of my priorities are ideas that I have or goals to help me hit this main goal, which is to add 88 new agents to the market center by the end of the year.
Can I humble brag Molly? Molly is one of the biggest profit share earners in our brokerage. And she's not even, she's an agent, but she's not even a full-time agent. Right. So just from her recruiting people, she's getting paid, right? Amazing. So
That's fun stuff. Okay, so my first priority is to bring in 9 new R1s or brand new agents per month. And so the tasks or my big rocks to do that on a week-to-week basis is to hold 4 recruiting appointments, nurture the relationships that I have within the database I work with, provide something of value to the students that are in school and getting ready to take that test, and then invite students to training and team meetings so they can get a feel to see if this is a fit for them. Okay, and so then the second thing is to have a great onboarding experience for these new agents. I mean, great, they join and that's wonderful, but if it's not a killer onboarding experience and they don't love what they're getting,
They might
it falls flat. Yes, so that's another goal of mine. And then the steps to do that. And then help, and my other job, part of my job is to do the training calendar. And so, and all of these things tie into helping our market center grow. And so there's enough training. If there's a good onboarding experience and I bring in and help bring in those agents, then I'm gonna hit that goal.
So I can vet Molly's GPS very simply. Let me ask you guys a question. If she brought in 9 new recruits a month, is she gonna hit this goal?
What's your total number? 88?
Yeah. From
I'm not
April
good
to
at math, but
December.
I'm assuming so.
So yeah, assuming so, right?
Yeah.
Run a 5-star onboarding experience. If every single agent that joins our brokerage from a retention standpoint just has a killer onboarding experience where they're set up from day one, then they have me to help them run to the rest, are they most likely going to stick around?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have a great training calendar. If there's great trainings for every single new agent to attend at any given time, are they more likely to stay or join? Right. So by default,
Yeah.
and by default, these 3 things all tie into or will achieve this goal, right? So that's kind of the setup there. So again, any questions on Zoom? I know it's a lot of information to cover. It seems super complicated, but I promise you, like, and I'm happy to help you guys individually, or we'll do another group setting kind of dynamic where we can build these out. You will have homework to start working on yours, but if at any point you're like, to hell with this, I can't figure it out, let me know. Because the goal is not to make this harder for you, but I'm trying to, from a bird's eye view, make it so laid out for you that if you don't succeed, it's simply because you were lazy, straight up. Like, I'm giving you guys so many resources, there's absolutely no issue without, it's implementation is gonna be the only issue if there was one, right? But yeah, the goal is we just set this up so you have actual strategy to say, I said I wanna make 100 grand this year. What does that actually look like on paper? How is it actually digestible in bite-sized pieces? So I can do it. So December doesn't come around and I go, how's your goal for the year? And you go, well, I closed 2. I don't know what happened. You
Yeah.
did because it's very measurable and specific.
Somewhere these things weren't done.
Right.
here.
Yep, exactly.
So what is someone, let's go around and just share with me if you would like, what would be your goal for the year? It could be a money, it could be a number, it could be your big why, but it's also, it's measurable. It
Yep.
has to be measurable. So is it to make 50,000? Is it to close a certain number of deals? Is it?
I put, on this, I put, to help 6 people buy or sell.
Okay, so
By December 31st.
6 families.
6 families.
6 families,
Great.
okay. So then what you would put here is your 6 families.
So help
serve
6 families. Yep.
And then we go into the big rocks, those things that will help you create money. Those are the strategies you put here.
So there are 2 different ways you can go about this. As you saw, this one's broken down to leads, listings, leverage, which I like that formula, especially for a new agent, because it's very specific. How are you going to get listings? Where are the rest of your leads going to come from? What are you going to build system-wise in the process to help support the first 2 things? Very simple format. Mine's a little different because at this point, that's not kind of my forte. I'm thinking, okay, now that I have the big database and I have the reputation, I have all these other pieces, how do I make them function together? And then I do my best job in that process to keep feeding the funnel, right? Is that fair? So what I want you guys to do is just, that's 2 different ways you can look at it. I'll show you more examples. I've got 3 or 4 that I've personally done, or I have, different resources to send you guys if you guys want a couple different ideas. And the great news is as long as you're going to commit to doing it, you can literally steal. We call it
Yeah.
modeling here, but you can literally steal from these and say, if you want to close 21 deals this year, there's your plan. Boom. Go in and handwrite it yourself, make sure it's something you're going to commit to, and there's your plan. That simple.
One of the
Right.
things I remember learning in a class once by Peter Morkel, he said, don't put something on your paper if it's really not you.
Yep.
Like they say, oh, make cold calls and go door knocking. For me, I would never do that. I know myself, I wouldn't do it, so I'm not gonna put it on my paper.
Yep.
So put things on there that you know you're gonna do.
If you love taking people to lunch, if you love doing client events,
Yeah.
if you love the idea of, calling people on their birthday, like I legit don't care. If you're excited about the plan and I can hold you accountable to it, that's the purpose of this, right? That's the goal. So again, goals, priorities, strategies in a 1-3-5 format. That's going to allow you to basically get maximal output from this. I got to check my battery real quick. I think my laptop may die.
You need to charge it.
You got one? Yeah. Hold please. We're going to swap chargers real quick. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
And while you're getting that out, I really liked what you said, Riley, about feeding your database, that kind of thing. And we'll talk more about that next week with, well, shoot.
Yeah, here. I'm going to have to move this. Bear with me, guys. Where's my
We'll
mouse
talk more
at?
about your database next week, but it's all about trying to
Tabletop.
have your database work for you and have those systems in place.
You're totally good.
No, that's fine with that.
Did we bore you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I need to stand around these things.
Thanks, man.
So far.
Perfect. Is my voice that shrieky? All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Okay, jumping into the next slide real quick, guys. So we have 411. Molly, you want to break this down for us?
So the 411 stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year. So this breaks that GPS down even further. So that way you know what your schedule looks like on a day-to-day basis. I'll
Yep.
pass this off to you guys, too.
So at KW, the 411 is a productivity tool to reflect your top priorities, or in other words, what we talked about, your big rocks. The 411 allows you to define your weekly, monthly, and annual goals. Because your daily activities manifest into your overall results, the goals you set are an effective and crucial accountability function of your business. To summarize this in a quote, as you guys know, I love quotes. You don't determine your future, you determine your habits, which then determines your future, right? So this is how you break this down into a very measurable and specific plan to you. Because personally, like Tyler, you want to close 6 this year? Great. If Blake said he wants to close 30, great. If someone comes up to me and says, I just want to make enough to buy 1 rental property, great. Like your goals are very specific to you. I just break them down into an easily digestible and wide format. But every one of you might have different ways you're looking at how you want to make this opportunity work for you. That's okay. I just want to arm you with the tools and resources to know, hey, Riley, what should I be doing today? Well, obviously we have trainings and whatever, right? The formality stuff, but outside of that, what should you actually be doing on a day-to-day basis to ensure that you're for sure getting closer to whatever your one thing or your why was for the year? So one second, let's break this down a little further. Understanding your job description. So Molly, you want to read this for me?
Yeah, so the 20% activities, that's what we want to focus on. You are in the lead generation business, not the real estate business.
Can I just stop real quick? Why did I say that there? That's from Gary Keller. You're in the lead generation business, not the real estate business. I've said it a few different times in this class. I've kind of mentioned that. Without leads, what do you have?
Absolutely.
Right. Without leads, you legitimately have a fancy title that makes you sound cool on paper, but when your friends and family check in on you and say, hey, you making any money? Are you helping anybody? You're not, right? So you are in the lead generation business, not the real estate business. Real estate is a byproduct and the fun part of what we get to do here, but it doesn't change the fact that without you getting out there and pounding the pavement every day, you're not going to have anything to show for it.
So these 5 are an example of 20% activities.
Yep. Or in other words, your job description. Where's my
Your
mouse
job
at?
description.
I don't know where my
Yes,
mouse
just some ideas that you can implement into your GPS and your 411, that kind of thing.
Yep. So your job description, uninterrupted lead generation every day, lead follow-up every day, go on appointments, negotiate contracts, practice what you say, or in other words, build your scripts, learn the language of real estate. These are your most important things. If these get done daily, weekly, there's a guarantee you're going to find success, even if you don't know anything. Again, you don't have to be the smartest person here. You just have to try a little harder. The knowledge comes with the experience and obviously these types of environments for the training. How a 411 is broken down though, you take that big goal you put on your GPS, you're going to break it down to a monthly goal. So I want to close 20 units this year. Okay, what's that look like? Well, I've got to make, or obviously 100K income, 20 units, whatever. I've got to make $8.5 thousand this month, or close 2 units, or help 2 families, right? What would that look like weekly? Well, call at least 10 SOI per day, text 10 SOI per day, run 2 ads per month, open house 2 times per month, add 10 people to command database this week, social media posts 3 times per week. So here's a great thing. We say on our 10-4, right, that we want you to add 10 per day. They're saying that they think they could achieve this goal of 20 houses per year off of a 10 per week. Like I told you, can I actually hold your feet to the fire and say, I expect you to have 10 people in your database every day? No. But should that be what you aim for? 100%, because what's that put you in the mindset to do? And what if you set your, like, you're going to always fall short of the targets you set. I'd rather have you fall short of 10 and get 3 to 5 per day than say, oh, I'm going to try to get 1 today and get nothing, right? Again, that's a quick breakdown. And then you go through and map out week by week what you could be doing, right? And a couple keynotes here: quality over quantity. Share your mobile app. That's a simple way to text people. You must follow up on leads. Knowledge of, basically to simplify this, how to do a great open house. 80% health score. You guys maybe saw me reference that on my GPS, why I want everybody's contact info, not just their name and phone number, but email, birthday, so on. So I can build an actual database. We're in a relationship business, keep your clients informed. These aren't obviously going to be on your 411, but those are just helpful notes to help you focus in on the right mindset for building this. And again, your big why, success list, GPS, top priorities all come into play in your 411.
One of the things I wanted to add to this, your uninterrupted lead generation, lead follow-up, going on appointments, negotiate contracts. These are things that will teach you how to do. When we say uninterrupted lead generation, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a lot of different things, and you pick what you want to do for you.
Yep.
Lead follow-up, what does that look like? Same kind of thing.
Yep. And like I say, I know that especially, like, trust me, I've been here for 3 years drinking the Kool-Aid, and there are certain things that I still don't maximize at the highest level, but that's not the point. I'm not expecting you guys to be experts or to be KW lingo, you know, you get what I'm saying, right? Right. I would rather have you get the fundamentals and start to learn the basics so we can put this in a daily action for you, because ultimately I don't expect this to be perfect. I just expect you to try. And in that process, we will make it perfect over time. And I promise you, if you start to learn this stuff and actually put it into action, you will smoke 99% of the agents out there, because most of them just run around and are so reactive, not proactive, and they still get business. So imagine if you have an actual business plan, a game plan, a model to follow.
Yeah.
So For the sake of time, I'm not going to show you the 411s. If you guys want to see mine individually, you're welcome to, but we're going to keep it rolling. So we got about 15 minutes from our scheduled time. So Molly, you want to break this down for us?
Yes, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. So this is a screenshot of the ProU calendar that you all have access
Yep.
to. So it's an example to help you if you want to, hopefully you'll run your day this way each day.
Yeah. And now I know a lot of you guys are not full-time. This is just our basic framework, mostly for us to be able to tell you what's going on week to week, right? Here's all of your trainings. You got Ignite, you got Work Zone, you have Coach's Corner, you have all the things that are going to be helpful to you to show up and learn, right? And let's assume you are full-time. This is a great starting schedule because every single day there's time for lead gen, an hour and a half mapped out,
20% right there.
plus a weekly open house. I promise you, if you actually follow this to a T, there's like legitimately no way you won't be producing in the next 30 to 60 days, no problem. Because even if you half-ass it and say, I'm going to talk to 5 people each of these times, that's 25 people plus the open house, which could have 5 to 30 people come through. That's a lot of contacts in a week for a new agent that doesn't really know, much
And I
about
like
what's
what
going
you
on.
said, Riley, about their SOI. Instead of just calling randos,
Yep.
you really focus on the people that you know. And
And if you feel uncomfortable doing that, that's where scripting and I come in to help you and say,
Yes.
how do we adapt this conversation specifically to this person? So you don't feel like a jackass and they also don't want to never talk to you again, right? How do we actually make
Yes.
this realistic for that specific phone call? But again, if it's not on your schedule, it doesn't exist. This is very helpful for you to know, how can I show up on a day-to-day basis? And again, Shoni talks about living based on the 70% rule. If I only follow this to a 70%, that means that, 30% of these activities I don't actually ever show up to accomplish. Would I be better off that week? 120%,
Yeah.
right? I get so
For
much
sure.
done. So jumping into a more specific calendar, this is what, okay, this is a little complicated. It looks scary when you first look at it, but if you actually dig into this, this is what a day in the life of an agent would look like, right? Like once you're a full steam ahead kind of situation. Where's my mouse at? Okay. So again, I'm looking at this. I got a wicked glare on this TV, but you've got prep and review. So first of all, if you have a morning routine, it's always good to start out your day off with a morning routine consisting of, I like the book Miracle Morning because it has you do something physical, spiritual, mental, everything. So by the time you start your day, you've checked all the boxes and put yourself in a great state of mind. So again, morning routine, prep and review, get ready for your day. You've got appointment setting, which is lead generation for an hour and a half. You take a 30-minute break to play on your phone or whatever you want to do. I don't care. After that, you're going to go lunch and prep. So I've given you a 45-minute lunch, plenty of time. So again, there's plenty of time in this calendar to like tick off. You don't have to be super, honest in that way. Appointments. So you're either going on appointments, or if you didn't set appointments in the morning, you're recommitting to setting appointments. Nurtures and follow-ups, daily wrap up, go home and spend 2 hours minimum with your family, still have an hour for personal time, and get to bed by 10 o'clock with a night routine.
You go to bed at 10 every night?
10, 11 ballpark, yeah. But that's my point. Once you're out of these trainings, once you're out of the program, or once my coaching is more one-on-one specific with you because you've mastered what we're teaching, your day could be so like, you could change all of this and say, okay, I'm working in real estate 4 hours a day, 4 hours intently per day. Other than that, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to kick it with my homies. I'm going to hang out with my kids, my family, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's literally that simple. You just show up and lead generate every day, make specific time for appointments or to handle your business, and go home, call it good, right? So
Mastering that skill of follow-up and reaching out to your SOI is crucial. I think that's what separates you from agents that have been here forever and agents that are brand new. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's how your follow-up is and how you reach out to your SOI.
time in this industry doesn't matter. It's 100% effort.
Yeah.
So again, your job description, let's break it down even more. Daily focus should be your daily 10-4, right? Which is 10 contacts, 10 people added to command. And then throughout the week, obviously you're going to preview 10 houses and so on. So again, 10 contacts, 10 people added to your database, 10 handwritten notes to the people you chat with on the phone, 10 homes previewed per week. I like to break this down personally into 5 in person, which if you're doing an open house per week, there's 1. If you can pick up some showings for a more experienced agent, they'll pay you $30 a door, go make some extra side money. There's another 3, 4, 5, right? Then practice 5 CMAs a week just for getting masterful on the market and knowing what, 500,000 gets you in Lehigh versus Saratoga versus Springville. Does it make sense? It just helps you build those skills and get more engaged with the market. So again, this is your daily focus. This is like your 20%, your big rocks, non-negotiables. There's a million different ways I could phrase it, but just reiterate the the fact this is very important for you.
Put those in first.
Yep. All right, guys, we're reaching the end. Questions, comments, or concerns? Anybody have anything to add to what we've talked about?
Is anyone overwhelmed?
Yeah, was that, can we get an honest feedback? Was what I'm teaching you overwhelming, or am I breaking it down in a way that's digestible?
It's pretty good. It's pretty
It's
simple.
been pretty good for me. I've got a
Oh.
question, actually, if you're
Let's hear it.
taking them.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with the numbers? So like you set your goal for how much you want to make in a year or how many closings you want to make. How do you just take the average commission for each sale and that's how you figure out how many listings or buyers you need to work with? Or how do you get that number?
Yeah. Yeah, on page 17, it breaks it down further. There's a couple ways you go about this. Okay, so I'm going to give you a few options here. To answer your question, yes, totally fine. In your scorecard, there's actually an economic model. Now, I'm going to just tell you guys straight up, right? I don't do well with all the vocabulary, like all the terminology, because I know for you guys, it's like, what the heck is the economic model? I have no idea, right? So let me just dumb it straight down for you. Like I say, I'm always going to be a very straightforward kind of person. The economic model, what it allows you to do is put in your income or your unit goal, and it breaks it down based on average conversion ratios, which that's a fancy way of saying, if I go on an appointment, how likely are they to work with me, right? Percentage wise. And it tells you how many appointments you need to go on. I would use those numbers to adapt my GPS and my 411, because I know, okay, if I want to close 20 units this year, I got to go on one appointment a week or 2 appointments a month or 3 or 4, whatever that number happens to be. And then you guys can make up for yourself, okay, realistically speaking, what would that look like day to day if I needed to make my 10 contacts? If I truly made 10 contacts a day and I did a great job with my scripting, got better with time, asked for business or referrals, had some reason to reach out and was valuable to them, could I make that happen? 120%. So for me, I think that I would probably take that approach, and then, you could do basic averages. And then you could also decide like, hey, I know as a new agent, most new agents are going to do 25% of their business in listings, 75% in buyers. You can totally change that statistic if you push for it. Buyers are just easier most of the time, but they're not as rewarding. Like they are in the sense, like I love getting a first-time buyer into a house, but from a business perspective, the listing makes the most sense because it takes less time. There's more opportunities for business that come from it. More money, right? There's a lot of reasons for it, but I'm not going to tell you that I do this for money exclusively. So I still love to help buyers. I'm never going to stop helping buyers because I just purely love it, right? So my point is, that's how I break it down, Austin. I hope that was helpful. You can definitely take averages. I'm happy to send out an email to you guys if you guys comment on Zoom or you guys in person of a few different GPS examples, so you guys can get an idea on how a few different people break theirs down. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It needs to be personalized, but I don't know if I showed you guys that photo of like I'll pull it up just real quick. Let me show you real quick.
Did you say this was on page 17?
Molly, what'd you say it was?
Yeah, 17 and 18 is in the playbook is for know your numbers. And you can kind of reverse, start from how much you want to make and then work backwards to see what you need to do out of each.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to show you guys just a quick little tidbit from the MREA, because I think it'd be helpful for you to think this way whenever you're doing. Did I download this? I may have downloaded it. Hold on. Bear with me.
Is that book available? Like, is there a hard copy or is it digital?
Yeah,
I think I have it.
Oh, the playbook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Austin, I realize that you don't have a copy yet. Yes, we have a digital copy that you could print out, or if you want to stop by the office sometime, I'll get you a binder that has the new agent booklet, and I totally forgot you haven't been here, so I will happily get that to you. Give me a sec. I'm trying to find, where did I find that at? Maybe I'll send it to you guys, but essentially it's like, when you're building a model is like, or a model or a system is like the way you go about doing things, right? And so the best thing to do is that you find an existing model, right? So in this case, a GPS, or the way that I'm teaching it, and you try it that way first, and then you personalize it with creativity, but don't start with the creativity. It's like, it shows a triangle, right? I'll try to find it. It'll drive me crazy if I can't, but anyways, you get the idea. So let's see, KWMREA. See if I can find it in images.
Next week, we'll be talking about your database and how to get it up and running, how to work in it,
Sorry, 2 seconds.
to set up your campaigns or systems so that it's automated?
This is what I was talking about, right? Creativity is how you take market share, right? Okay, so models, so the stuff I'm teaching you, then you adapt it to your own. But if you start with creativity, it's going to be unstable because you're not starting off with that right foundation or sense of knowledge or way of doing it properly, right? That's what I was trying to get at. So that's it. Yeah, Austin, we'll get you a copy of that though. And if you have any other questions, you're welcome to ask them now, or I'm happy to jump in with you one-on-one and we can powwow about it. Any questions from you guys here in person? No?
Homework for next week is to fill out your GPS and for your 411. If you have any questions, stop by my office. I'm happy to help with that.
Yeah, let us know how we can help you.
Yep. And then make sure you know your login to command for next week. If you'll be in command next week, bring your laptop and
Yeah, next week we'll break down what it like let's call it an efficient or systemized database looks like, how to add people to the database, but secondly, how to actually get it to look like a certain way long-term. And again, time block your calendar. At least have the KWW Pro Team calendar, just so you guys have a framework for lead generation, trainings, and so on every day. And then I'm happy to work with you guys individually or in group settings to adapt it to your own liking. But yeah, that's all we got for you guys. So again, next time, building your database. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. But for now, that's all we got. Let's see.
And tomorrow is
Love to see a model of someone. So Cash, for your question, I'd love to see a model of someone who makes 250K. You mean like a GPS?
or is it the numbers? Like show me the numbers.
Or numbers?
Yeah.
I'll text you individually, Cash. I don't know if you can hear me. But yeah, happy to show you. Like I say, I'm happy to be transparent on all this stuff. I have I have nothing to hide, so I will happily show you anything I have or go find it. But otherwise, guys, I appreciate you joining us today and hope to see you guys soon. We'll be doing, let me look at my calendar real quick. I believe I scheduled Coach's Corner for,
I think it's Wednesday.
yeah, Wednesday.
What is that? Is that when we have like a one-on-one or?
No, Coach's Corner, it's usually on Mondays, but because of Memorial Day, yeah, that will be Wednesday. That's an open group format Q&A. So you can pop on individually, ask me questions, and then I'll kind of coach you guys as a group based on what comes up. So if someone says, hey, I want you to break down this process, or I have a question about this specific topic, that gives me the opportunity to teach all of you in a group setting and most likely answer questions all of you have just based on the fact that, you're all kind of in the same starting ground. But otherwise, guys, Cash, I'm happy to send you that GPS and we can chat more about it, but hope you guys enjoy your day. Thanks for joining me and I'll see you next time.